Today we discuss what are interface states, dangling bonds, and mobility edge. To start with, what are surface states? We define the surface states. We see over here in this diagram the bonds of a semiconductor surface. Because of the abrupt discontinuity of the lattice structure at the surface, a large number of localized energy states or generation recombination centers may be introduced at the surface region. These states are called surface states. They greatly enhance the recombination rate at the surface region. The kinetics of the surface recombination are similar to those considered before for bulk centers. The total number of carriers recombining at the surface per unit area and per unit time can be expressed in a brief manner. Now we discuss what is meant by Auger recombination. The Auger recombination process occurs for the transfer of energy and momentum released by the recombination of an electron hole pair to a third party that can be either an electron or a hole. The example of Auger recombination process is shown in this diagram. A second electron in the conduction band absorbs the energy released by the direct recombination. After the Auger process, the second electron becomes an energetic electron. It loses its energy to the lattice by scattering events. Usually, Auger recombination is important when the carrier concentration is very high as a result of either high doping or high injection level. Because the Auger process involves three particles, the rate of Auger recombination has a strong temperature dependence. We now discuss what are interface states. The presence of interface states, which are localized states near the interface and within the forbidden band, they are normally not considered. Because of the surface and interface states, it is difficult to fabricate junctions of barrier heights near the ideal values predicted from work functions of two isolated materials. If the diode are not made in an ultra clean environment, that is high vacuum, then there will be a very thin oxide interface between the metal and semiconductor. This oxide has many energy states available for carriers that are in the band gap of the semiconductor, particularly the silicon. This interface has, of course, a large influence on the current because it increases the leakage current. The presence of such states can affect the resultant energy band diagram. So, we will see what is meant by the surface and interface states. Up till now, we have assumed that materials are defect-free, crystalline, and are well-defined periodicity. When the periodicity is interrupted, that is, at or near the surface of the defect, the band structure is modified. For defects, the result is localized allowed states in the forbidden band which can trap electrons or holes. At the surface, the potential energy is no longer periodic and the resultant band structure is no longer applicable. So there are two effects. One is due to the surface itself if it is not properly cleaned, and other is due to non-periodicity near the surface. These are normally treated by considering the band structure of the bulk to be valid up to the surface, and then the surface effects are described by local surface states. The surface states are spread over a range of energies, and many of the states are at energies corresponding to the forbidden energy of the bulk. So, how these states would appear in the Fermi energy band diagram in case of neutrality? We note that the surface states are spread over a range of energies, and many of the states are at energies corresponding to the forbidden band of the bulk. We see in the figure how the states would appear in the energy band diagram in case of neutrality over here in this diagram. We note that for neutrality, the Fermi level of the surface is not the same as that of the bulk. To achieve equilibrium, electrons from the conduction band of the bulk move to occupy the empty states at lower energy surface. If the surface is not passivated and the electrons occupy some of the surface states, a net surface charge builds up. A net surface charge requires an equal and opposite charge in the bulk, thus building up an electrostatic field normal to the surface. In this case, the positive charges ionize donors in the lattice. The bands bend in the semiconductor near the surface to reflect a built-in field as you have shown in the diagram. We see an electrostatic potential difference or surface potential phi s exists at the surface of the semiconductor bulk. The value of phi s depends on the density and energies of the surface states and on the doping level of the semiconductor. In amorphous silicon also, the interface states arise from uncompensated or dangling bonds arising due to the lattice mismatch between two materials, either metal semiconductor or semiconductor junctions. The mismatch will also create a mechanical strain in the surface near the interface. The strain accumulates with distance and eventually leads to crystal defects. These defects can also produce states within the forbidden bands because of the interruption of the lattice periodicity. In compound semiconductors, the interfacial layer introduces states in the forbidden gap which pin the Fermi level in a fixed position regardless of the metal used. For example, a collection of interface states located 0.7 to 0.9 electron volts below the conduction band pins the Fermi energy at the surface of the n-type gallium arsenide, and the Schottky barrier height is determined from pinning effect rather than the work function of the metal. When we talk of the short range order, amorphous silicon comes into our mind. The term amorphous commonly applied to non-crystalline materials prepared by deposition from gases. Non-crystalline means the chemical bonding of atoms, they remain nearly unchanged from crystals, and there are small disorderly variations in the angles between the bonds eliminates the regular lattice structure. This is another way of classifying semiconductors according to the structure. Accordingly, a semiconductor may be amorphous, polycrystalline or single crystal. The nature of crystalline structure has a significant influence on the properties of the semiconductor. Amorphous semiconductors have short range order and can be considered to be quasi-periodic. They display poor characteristics in terms of carrier mobility and lifetime. In majority of the semiconductor devices, single crystal materials are used because of the superior electrical characteristics. Polycrystalline semiconductors show electrical behavior similar to that of single crystals, but the conductivity is significantly lower of the presence of grain boundaries that obstruct the flow of mobile carriers, as you have seen in silicon solar cells. However, they are found only limited use. Some of the uses are, as we have shown over here, they are used in solar cells. Background to amorphous silicon, we have the same tetrahedral bonding as the crystalline silicon, but it does not have long range crystalline structure. Random structure leads to dangling bonds in the material. These are considered defects. Dangling bonds lead to mid-band gap states. Hydrogen is used to fill those dangling bonds. Now we define what is a mobility edge. A mobility edge is defined as the energy separating localized and the non-localized states in the conduction or valence bands of a non-crystalline material or the impurity band of a doped semiconductor. This review is limited to the three-dimensional systems, since in one or two dimensions a mobility edge in this sense does not exist because all the states are localized. On the other hand, the material properties of many semiconductor alloys do not behave too differently from those of pure semiconductor compounds. This implies that the concepts of band dispersion and effective masses do some level of approximation are still valid. These features can be rationalized if we view alloys as effective media and their electronic states as quasi-particle states which can propagate in the media but with damping. Besides, the electronic states in general are not simple traveling waves but are much more complex with position-dependent probabilities. Because of the inherent disorder in the alloy, there is a finite probability even in random alloy, that is, a finite region of volume V which is rich in material. This region can trap electrons, that is, form localized wave function. Such sites will not be conducting at low temperatures except through tunneling. In fact, these are either localized or extended states. The extended states extend throughout the material, although they may not be block states and may have sufficient finite probabilities everywhere in space. The energy separation between the extended and localized states is often called the mobility edge, in contrast to the band edge in a simple semiconductor. So in short, an atom in the crystal bulk is shown to be surrounded by 4 nearest neighbors, the covalent bond with each of them being created by virtue of pairwise sharing of valence electrons. The atoms localized on the free surface have been broken valence band and one incomplete or unsatisfied electron pair. As these atoms strive to complete the pair and bring their outer shells to the steady 8 electron configuration, they behave like typical acceptors to which they correspond the acceptor level EA in the energy gap. The valence electrons trapped at these levels do not penetrate into the crystal bulk but localize themselves at about a lattice distance away from the surface. Holes thus appear in the valence band and the surface layer of the semiconductor displays p-type conductivity. So the surface states arise ideally on a pure defect-free surface. Such a surface is practically impossible to obtain. In reality, the surface properties of the semiconductor depend on the foreign atoms or molecules on the surface, and so this is not actually a very pure, or it is impossible to obtain a pure surface. Thank you.